Welcome to the Rising Tide Leadership Podcast, where we simplify the complexities of your leadership journey. And this year, don't forget, we've got a theme, building sustainable influence. So follow along and sign up for that newsletter so we can always stay caught up and you can stay caught up with us. As always, I'm Scott, and joining me is our go-to leadership guru, Dr. Michael David Morales, aka Mr.
Man, love it. What's up, Scotty? I'm ready for your story. Hit me with it.
So I'm sure you've heard, it was all over social media and everything, the Make Your Bed speech at the University of Texas.
I've heard it.
I hadn't heard of Admiral McRaven prior to that, but since then, he has popped up on a lot of my podcasts that I listen to, a lot of my leadership podcasts, and I actually scored, this is going to be just a blurb for Costco. If you want to sponsor us, Costco, reach out. But they, a while back, had a 3-book collection all by Admiral McRaven. But anyway, his leadership during the planning and execution of Operation Neptune Spear, which was the mission to capture and or kill Osama bin Laden in 2011, is really the utmost powerful example of what it means to really clarify vision and purpose. So as the commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command, McRaven faced a whole lot of pressure of overseeing this high-risk mission with really uncertain intelligence. So if you've ever seen the movie Zero Dark 30, it's not, obviously, Hollywood is not completely accurate, but you start to get an idea of what it's like to run off of intelligence. And Mo, you work in the military, probably can't talk too much about it, but you probably experience even instances where, platoons that you work with, are operating off maybe not the best intelligence or got poor intelligence. But finding Osama bin Laden, that's what this journey was about. Chasing down leads, having uncertain intelligence. But to ensure success, McRaven gathered his team and made it clear that their mission was far beyond just some sort of tactical operation. So it was really a crucial moment in the broader war on terror. So he emphasized the importance of capturing or killing bin Laden not only as a personal victory for himself and his men, but as a message to the world about America's commitment to confronting terrorism and then securing justice for those victims of 9/11. So his ability to clarify kind of that larger purpose behind the mission gave his SEALs a real clear sense of direction and helped them stay focused, even under that immense pressure that came with that specific mission. So the operation's success depended on each team member understanding their role and performing absolutely flawlessly, despite all the risks involved. McRaven's leadership really ensured that the team remained aligned and motivated, which played a critical role in the mission's kind of ultimate success. And this experience really highlighted the power of clarifying vision and purpose, especially in high-stakes situations, and really kind of became the cornerstone of McRaven's overall leadership philosophy. And so this month, if you hadn't already guessed, we're really talking about what it means to clarify your vision and purpose. And let's be honest, without vision, it's so easy to just feel like we're kind of drifting along, not really understanding where we're going, kind of like Mo, you always say, like a ship without its captain. And so vision, though, serves as that compass, and it's really that thing that ports you towards where you want to go. And purpose, well, that's just fuel that keeps you moving, even when that journey gets tough, like where we're at right now. And together, vision and purpose are really what make leadership meaningful, both for you and also for the people that you lead. So Mo, let's take it away. Let's hit that first point for today.
Yeah, I'd love to say something real quick about McRaven. I love the SEAL Credo, which is the only easy day was yesterday. And when he took over as chancellor at the University of Texas, he made a lot of changes, innovation and research, and the things that he did in the military, he was able to do after his military career, which was incredible. That's a great story of why leadership is so important and why it matters. And so today we want to talk about the importance of vision and purpose. And so vision is the leader's compass. It lets you know where you're going. It lets you not get too far off the beaten path. As leaders, sometimes we like to take on a lot of different activities. We like to be busy. Leaders, you've got to have direction and clarity. Without it, you're just going to be reacting to whatever comes next. Strong vision is asking the question, where are we going? Once people know how to answer that question, they can latch on to the goals that you set. One of my favorite books, Simon Sinek's Start With Why, nails this idea. You've got to read that book. When you understand your why, leaders, it's easier to inspire others. So take Charles Best. He's the founder of Donors Choose. His vision empowering teachers to fund projects for classrooms. That was a game changer for educators. Leaders, what is your game changer?
That's a great point to kind of just start off with there, Mo. So I have to, if we're talking about Charles Best and we're talking about kind of this Choose program, can you maybe touch on kind of how purpose and vision can impact like a customer's loyalty?
Yeah, it's all about brand identity. Why do people buy an Apple computer? Steve Jobs knew what it meant to create brand identity. Let me ask you this. How many vehicles have you seen that have a Google sticker on the back? Now, contrast that with how many cars that you see that have a little Apple on the back. Brand identity. People aren't buying an Apple device necessarily always because it's the best. It's because Steve Jobs created an ecosystem. And now, even though that he's passed away, the company still does that. What is your brand identity? If you want to make people excited to contribute to what you're doing, to your movement, you have to show them why they need to do that. The second part is purpose is the driving force. Leaders, purpose answers the why are we doing this question. It gives meaning to the work that your people are doing day in and day out. Scott, you actually have worked with a lot of football teams as an athletic trainer. You have probably heard a lot of pregame speeches. And what do coaches do? They get the guys fired up, and everybody does what? They get up and they run out of the tunnel, and they're so excited. But that excitement can usually only last for so long. Sometime during the game, first quarter, second quarter, after half, you might not be that excited. However, you still have to get the job done. And that's when you have to ask yourself, why are we doing this? When it gets to the mundane tasks, doing the important things, what is the meaning, leaders, that you're giving your people to do the work that they're doing day in and day out? Because it gets tough. Without it, even the clearest visions can fall flat on their face. Tom's Shoes have a 1-for-1 mission. For every pair sold, they give a pair to somebody in need. And so many of my friends years ago would be wearing their Tom's shoes, and I'd say, hey, what are those? And they'd say Tom's. And then they would always tell me, hey, I got these. And because I'm wearing these, somebody else actually got a pair of shoes as well. That's the why. That's the buy-in. Leaders, you need to give your employees a reason to buy in. You have to give them a reason for what you are doing is different and why they should be a part of your company and why it's going to be a win-win situation.
So what do you do about someone who maybe, how do I put this, doesn't buy in, so to say, right? Like is that a failure of leadership if your employees are not buying in or the group that you're working with or your team or whatever it may be? Or is that more, there are always going to be those people who potentially don't buy in, and that's more of a getting the right people on the bus, maybe having them reassigned or worst case scenario, fired, or having to mentor. Mo, can you just speak to that real?
I love the law of the buy-in. John Maxwell always says this, actually, in his chapter, The Law of the Buy-in. Leaders first, vision second. People have to believe in you as the leader, which is what? People have to believe in your character, they need to believe in your capability, and they have to believe that you care, the 3 C's. Even the best vision is going to fail if the leader lacks credibility. However, if people trust and respect the leader can make more boo-boos. Trust is a non-negotiable. So once you give your people a reason to trust you, you need to be able to trust them. What is that trust? That's what answers your specific question, Scotty, which is, what do you do when somebody doesn't jump on the bus? Well, the bus is moving. If you don't want to get on the bus, eventually I can put my hand out the door, out the window, and try to pull you along as much as I can. But as the bus keeps on going, I'm going to get tired and I'm going to have to let go. Leaders get this one wrong so many times. And leaders, I want to give you permission right now. If you have really given it your all, if you said, this person on my team doesn't buy in, and I've done everything that I possibly could, good leadership would say, it's time to help that person move on. It's not always that you're a bad leader. Now, I believe that there's no bad teams, only bad leaders, as Jocko Willink says. But notice that Jocko Willink doesn't say there's no bad team members. He said there's no bad teams. A team is made up of people that have a specific goal that they have together. If somebody doesn't want to be a part of that togetherness, then you need to remove them from the team. And I hate saying that, but I've had to do that before. I've had to remove people from a team. If everybody's buying in except for maybe one person, I have a lot of conversations and I give them a lot of chances. But sometimes, Scotty, you just got to help them move along.
Yeah, that's that. It's always the tough part. I feel like it's the one thing that leaders always want to avoid, right? Because it's conflict.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's not enjoyable, but it's the reality of the situation. It's that idea of, like pruning a bush in a way. You can prune it back, keep it looking nice, but at some point you're going to have to potentially rip that part off.
Absolutely.
And knowing when to do that is crucial. And so I feel like we've kind of covered why it's so important to have that vision and that purpose. But how do we really go about kind of really creating and crafting and then really making sure that we effectively kind of communicate those things?
Crafting and communicating the vision and the purpose are essential to leadership when you are talking about vision. So, what is the vision that you have first, leaders? Yes. But then, what are the key elements of crafting the vision? Here they are. What are the core values? So what are the principles that guide your decisions? What are the things that are negotiable for you as a leader? And what are the things that are non-negotiable? Because I've got things that I need my team to do, and some of that they can work outside of, but whatever the why is, whatever we're trying to get done, everybody has to buy in. If they're not going to buy in, they need to know you've got to get on board. There's things that I will negotiate, there's things that I will not. Second thing is this. What are the problems that you as a leader are solving for your team, for the customers, for the community? You have to know those. Leaders have to make those decisions because that ensures future success. What does winning look like to you? Winning always has to be at the forefront, and it's not win at all cost. But what does the win look like for you? What does the win look like for your team? Because your people want to be effective and they want to be part of something. And so when you're part of a team, for instance, a team sport, you might be trying to win a championship. You might be just trying to rebuild. And both are okay. But what does success look like for you, leaders? Your people need to know what the win looks like because they need to be able to celebrate those wins. If you don't help them craft that vision, they're going to get tired and they're going to move on.
I really like what you said too about core values, just kind of in that last part, how it's allowing for wiggle room, being not so strict that you're controlling every aspect, but deciding what absolutely needs to be done versus, man, I'd love for this to happen this way, but if someone else has a better way to do it and comes up with something better, yeah, we're just going to let that go. We're going to let them prosper. We're going to empower them to complete. I really love that idea. I feel like oftentimes when we're talking about a vision, we almost have tunnel vision, if I might throw that in there. But
that's a good one.
But the idea that we are so locked into this that it's like, no, this is our vision. We can't have that wiggle room. We can't do anything different.
Yeah, so that's a great point. What one of my mentors told me one time is he said, most structure brings flexibility. And so if you know exactly what you're trying to accomplish, then there's a lot of flexibility within that. Let me give you this example. We write down goals. We tell people you need to know your goals. Why do you need to know your goals? Because if you know your goals, even for the day, if you write down your goals, I tell people write down your goals the night before for the next day. So when you get up, you have a list of 1, 2, 5, 10 things you need to get done. And within that structure is a lot of flexibility because if you don't write them down, you just always feel overwhelmed. But if you think, here are the things that I need to get done for tomorrow, within that structure, there's a lot of flexibility. So leaders, give your people structure and then let them go. As long as they get done what you need them to get done, who cares how they get it done? If they do it with integrity, that's just better for you because you are macromanaging from a higher level than micromanaging right there with them, which never works out.
So then once we've kind of created and established this vision and goal, how do we go best about communicating it to those that need to hear it? And then is there really a difference between, how we're going to communicate it to various levels?
Yeah, communicating vision and purpose is absolute. If you've got a good vision, then the communication works. If you have a bad vision and purpose or you have no vision and purpose, it doesn't matter how much you communicate, your people aren't going to understand. It's not going to make sense for them. But let's just say you have a good vision, you have a good purpose. Communicate that. Use the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay? Don't overcomplicate it. Make vision something that people can easily understand and remember. After you keep it simple, you got to be consistent. Share it often. It is more important to be reminded than it is to be instructed. Andy Stanley has a great book called Making Vision Stick. He talks in there about being consistent. But that leads me to the last part about this, Scotty, which is the toughest part for leaders. You got to live it out. That's the key. If you say collaboration is a core value for leadership, then show it. Collaborate with people. Don't tell your people one thing and do another. People aren't going to trust what you say. They're going to trust what you do. When you want to make a difference, you have to first believe it so much that it's just a part of who you are. What is the culture of your team, leaders? Live it out. Let people know that you believe it. And trust me, people are going to jump on board.
Living it out, definitely the hardest part about all of that. So, and living it out consistently through month and week after week, month after month, year after year. So Mo, before we head out today, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Just this. Vision and purpose are at the heart of great leadership. They're going to give you clarity. They're going to inspire action. They're going to help you navigate challenges. So you have to take time to define your vision. You should have already done this. Leaders, you should know what your vision is. It should be bold. It should be clear. It should be grounded in values. And make sure your purpose connects to something that's bigger than you. People don't want to follow something that isn't grand. They want to follow something that's bigger than they are, that's bigger than you are. You've got to help them understand that you've got to communicate. You've got to be authentic. When you do this, it's going to create a ripple effect throughout your organization, no matter how big or small it is. And people are going to be drawn to you.
Great finish there. So thanks so much to everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate you being a part of today's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. And don't forget to visit our website at rtclc.com and sign up for that monthly newsletter. That way you guys can get access to all of the extra insights that we don't get to on this podcast. So until next time, lead with purpose, stay authentic, and make an impact.